On this episode, we dive into the Mercedes AMG C43 Coupe. We see just how fast it is and check out all the features. It's coming up on Driving Sports TV. Thanks for watching our review today. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We got a lot of great videos coming up that you won't want to miss. Now, on with the review. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class is a very popular car for people that want something a bit nicer than a Honda or Toyota, but aren't quite ready to step up to the larger luxury experience like a $100,000 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. This C300 we have here is nicely equipped with 4MATIC all-wheel drive, a turbocharged inline 4-cylinder good for 255 horsepower, advanced entertainment, and a pile of advanced safety features for a price close to $50,000 US. What we have here is a 2019 Mercedes AMG C43. Available as either a sedan or a coupe, it's a quicker alternative to the C300 that still keeps it all in the family. This one also looks better thanks to a special looks package available exclusively on the AMG model. Under the hood is a bi-turbo V6 that churns out 385 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to an AMG SpeedShift TCT 9-speed transmission that powers all four wheels through the AMG Performance 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. Now, this all-wheel drive system isn't to be confused with the standard Mercedes 4MATIC. They're actually a little bit different. Where the C300 defaults to 55% of available torque to the rear tires, the AMG C43 4MATIC is more tail-happy, pushing 69%. The C43 is definitely for a different type of driver than the more pedestrian C300. EPA rates this setup at 19 miles to the gallon city and 27 on the highway. Just because it's quick doesn't mean that it can't be practical. The trunk in this C43 can absorb up to 12.6 cubic feet of gear. Fold the second row down for larger objects. Because this is a relatively small coupe, it's not really designed to put a full-size adult in the second row. Still, it's worth a try. And the result is doable in a pinch. Up front is an interior befitting the price. This is a masterclass on design. Metal, wood, and leather envelop the driver, keeping them in comfort and in control at all times. Even something as simple as a speaker cutout resembles what you would find on the much more expensive S-Class. Our test car was equipped with the optional cranberry leather seats, in addition to quite a lot of other options. And yes, they are ventilated. The AMG C43 4MATIC Coupe starts at $57,450. But once you start adding in all the extras, like the digital display cluster, upgraded exhaust, track pack, carbon fiber exterior bits, lighting upgrades, multimedia, parking assistant, driver assistance, and that performance studio package that we mentioned earlier, yeah, you're looking at $75,075 US, including destination. That escalated quickly. And sure, once you've priced this up to $75,000, you are knocking on the door of the 503 horsepower C63S. But once you add back all of these extra goodies, even the C63 starts to approach $90,000. That makes this C43 seem like a bargain in comparison. The upgraded navigation system is controlled using this combination dial and touchpad. They work great and feel good in the hand. Simply write out your destination or use the dial to make selections. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are supported through USB. The C43, of course, has a variety of drive modes. Comfort keeps the C43 rather quiet. But switch into Sport Plus mode, and the AMG Performance exhaust system opens up for a much more appropriate tone. That exhaust is a $1,250 option, and yes, I think it is totally worth it. Because inside, I'm really just a 12-year-old. Below the Dynamics control switch is an option to shift the automatic transmission into manual mode, and below that is a button to control the standard dynamic suspension system. This is a very cool setup that is responsive to the way that you drive. Basically, in sport mode, it firms up and responds most aggressively as you corner the vehicle. In comfort mode, it does everything it can to smooth out the road. It's a really great system if you have a lot of diversity in the way that you drive. Say you commute during the week and you hit the track on the weekends. This setup, perfect. Our test car also came with the $450 Track Pace upgrade. This adds the ability to dive deeper into vehicle telemetry, as well as load data on specific tracks, and not just the ones in Germany. They have all the major courses like VIR and Laguna Seca available. In terms of active safety, it's well thought out with blind spot warning, traffic sign assist, brake assist, lane change assist, and an advanced adaptive cruise control system with lane centering. We'll test that out later in this video. The car also has a backup camera with surround view and cross-traffic alerts. Basically, with the right packages, you get all the good stuff that you would expect at this price point. When in comfort mode, the C43 drives very much like any other Mercedes. It's quiet, comfortable, and really quite a pleasant experience. Flip the dynamic system to sport, and it's like unleashing the Kraken. Okay, very small Kraken, but a Kraken nonetheless. It's almost as though this car was designed by somebody that really enjoyed driving. The first time I drove a Mercedes AMG C-Class, it was actually at Laguna Seca Raceway, and that was a C63 sedan. And it was amazing. But you kind of would expect that, considering that F1 legend Lewis Hamilton had a hand in the development of that car. Now, I don't know if he just drove it and said, yeah, it's good, or if he said, these seats need to be adjusted slightly. I have absolutely no idea his level of involvement. But fact is, Lewis Hamilton gave his blessing, and it's a brilliant car. Moving on. Here we are now in 2019, and I'm driving the baby brother of the C63 called the C43. Now what this has is a V6 with a twin turbocharger under the hood. And it is good, according to Mercedes, for 4.5 seconds on a 0 to 60 run, which is pretty impressive. Now those numbers always include a little bit of a rollout, so I'm sure our number will be at least a second slower, but that's because we test from pedal down. It's a big difference. There is no launch control on this, so it's really just a matter of pedal feel. I'm going to go ahead and put the vehicle into Sport Plus, which changes up everything that I need to be maximum output. And we'll just do 3, 2, 1, launch. And 60. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like BMW, Mercedes AMG does charge extra for the adaptive cruise control system. But that's okay, because in this one, you feel like you're actually getting something pretty advanced. Whereas the BMW system, Here, I basically set it, say go, set my speed, go a little bit higher. It doesn't really matter what I set it for as long as it's faster than the car in front of me. And we're now tracking. And beyond just distance tracking, this one will also auto steer. I see I have a little green steering wheel illuminated in the dash, so I can now take my hands off the wheel if I really wanted to. Now the point here isn't autonomous driving. It's really just to reduce fatigue while you're doing long trips. But it's still a pretty cool trick. Now the road is bending here, and let's see how well this tracks. It's perfect. I mean, we are dead center down the middle of the road, no ping-ponging whatsoever. And I think it's particularly good because we're in a lot of high contrast shade and light situation here. And it hasn't even asked me to put my hands on the wheel. It'll do it eventually, but so far, it's good. Actually, it's really good. That's actually way better than I was expecting, to be honest. Are you ever going to ask me to put my hands back on the wheel? That's pretty tight. It's staying true. Wow, really impressive. Okay, now it's finally asking me to put my hands back on the wheel. So very impressed with the autonomous system in this. It's quite good. So they charge $1,800 for that. Yeah, I think that's worthwhile because you're not just getting adaptive cruise control, you're getting auto steering, you're getting rear cross traffic alerts, you're getting sensors all around. It's a pretty big package. Yeah, even though this particular car is equipped to the gills with features, you don't have to spend $75,000 to get a properly equipped C43. You can easily just add, the special looks package that gives it the really nice looking wheels and blacked out grille bits. That one's $3,000. And then you probably want this digital instrument panel because it's really cool. So that you're looking at about $750. If you want to add the adaptive cruise control and all that stuff, you're looking at about another $1,800. Basically, you can configure this to be pretty nice for the mid-60s. At that price, you would also want to seriously consider the Audi S5 coupe. Base price on the Audi starts at about $52,400, which is a little cheaper than the Mercedes AMG. The win for the AMG C43 is that it does have a bit more horsepower, and it puts out more torque to the rear wheels in normal circumstances, since the Audi has a 40-60 torque split all-wheel drive bias. I can also configure an S5 coupe with all the options I would ever want, including a rear sport differential for $66,845 US. In the Mercedes, you have to jump to the higher spec C63 to get the rear sport diff. It's little details like that that make the Mercedes AMG options just a little more expensive all around. Is the Mercedes still worth it to you? Well, you'll have to drive both to decide. But there is one feature Mercedes AMG offers that might just put it over the top for you, and that is the track pace option. It'll actually tell you where to start braking on a racetrack. You're coming up to a corner, it'll tell you in the heads-up display, if you wanted to, when is a good time to brake for the next corner. I mean, that's amazing. It's like PlayStation IRL, man. It's like what we've been waiting for. Too bad I don't have a racetrack that's part of that package anywhere near me, like not within 2 states. So can't test that out, but it looks amazing. Mercedes, send us to a track with one of these. I'd love to take this thing on the Nürburgring. Seriously, let's do it. Even though today we're driving the coupe version of the C43, you can also get it in a 4-door model. So if you want something a little bit more practical but has all of the same basic stuff, that is available. Personally, I would go for the sedan just because I've owned coupes in the past and I just don't find them really that practical on a day-to-day basis. Whether it's because I need to bring people like to the airport, like pick up friends, family, whatever, or if I just need to put more gear in the car. A coupe is great, but a sedan, it's usually better. So nice. I like how their snow mode is actually called slippery mode, which is, to be honest, a little bit more accurate. I mean, because what if you're on like slippery mud? Yeah, you want probably slippery mode, not snow mode. Thank you, Mercedes, for finally giving us an accurate depiction of a low traction mode. Way to go. So you do have a lot of different options here with configuration also. Even though in Sport Plus it turns everything on maximum performance, I can also, select. I can turn this loud exhaust system off, but leave everything else on maximum output. I can also, let's see here, I can configure the engine, the exhaust, the traction control level, and the suspension, because remember, this has adaptable suspension. So it not only goes from soft to firm when I put it into Sport Plus, it also it's constantly adjusting based on steering and other inputs that the vehicle collects to give me the optimal road feel and the optimal handling, whether I'm going around twisty corners or just going over a rough road. And that is pretty clever. Now, there is something kind of weird I'm hearing up here, and I believe it's fake noise coming out of the speaker. But it's weird fake noise. It's like not right. It sounds like there's a little door open on the side of the car and it's piping in the sound from a tiny engine. It's not okay. And honestly, I don't particularly care for that. Now I can turn on music, or when I lay in the throttle, the exhaust is just so loud that you're not going to hear it. But when just cruising, it's a little weird. And maybe I'm crazy, but I could have swore that the other day when I was driving this, every time I put the brakes on, there was a tiny crash noise came out of that speaker. I'm not joking. I think that actually happened. So I don't know what that is, but I'd love to turn it off. I've been through the menus on both sides here, and I can't find where to turn it off. So that's no good. So weird. This one does have a lot of extras. I mean, this interior, I'm not a fan of the floating display, but I really am a fan of what's on the display. It is just a clear, concise, really nice menu system, super easy to use, and it supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto out of the box using a cable, which is 100% reliable, unlike BMW's Wi-Fi system that I can never get to work and costs an annual subscription fee on top of not really working right. So, you know, that's a plus for the Mercedes. This has been my first look at the 2019 Mercedes AMG C43 Coupe. It is a really great option if you're looking to spend, you know, between 50 and 70 grand on a really fun to drive little car. And of course, you can get a 4-door version if you need something more practical. Be sure to leave a comment, also give us a thumbs up, and share this with your friends. We make these videos for you, and we hope you like them. We'll see you next time.